A changing perspective with age, 6 deep truths of life. At 2 o'clock in the night, under the white lights of the hospital, 42-year-old 𝐼𝐸 sat holding his report. Outside, messages were arriving on his phone, but for the first time he did not care about any notification, target or urgent call. Until a few hours ago, he was running in the race for office promotions, EMIs, status, and getting ahead of others. Now a quiet line from the doctor had suddenly silenced all the noise inside him. The report was not very dangerous, but the warning was clear. It was as if the body was saying, if you don't stop even now, life itself will stop you. And this very thought sat in his heart as fear. 𝐼𝐸 was gripped by a strange question that night. Does a person truly grow wiser with age, or does age simply stand them face to face with the truths they have been running away from for years? In youth, life seems very simple. Earn more, buy a bigger house, impress people, and prove that you are not lagging behind. We feel that this is the real victory. But as the years pass, the story slowly changes. The very things that once felt like achievements sometimes begin to feel very empty from within. And this emptiness generates the first question. This change does not come suddenly. First, a small illness, a breaking relationship, an unfulfilled dream, or the silence of a loved one leaves a faint mark on the heart. Then, one day, that very mark becomes a mirror. A person looks at themselves and asks, where was I running, for whom was I running, and from whom was I running? 𝐼𝐸's story is not just one person's story. It is the story of all of us. It's just that everyone's hospital, report, breaking point, regret, or waking night is different. Someone understands this after losing a job. Someone upon seeing their parents' white hair. Someone from a child's innocent question. And someone from their own exhaustion. The very first truth begins with the body. In youth, the body lets us do a lot of things without complaining, so we consider it a machine and mistake its silence for strength. Staying up late into the night, considering stress normal, skipping meals, and then running the day on coffee feels like a lifestyle in the beginning. Later, these very habits demand an account with interest. When the body gives the first signal, a person truly gets scared, because they realize that a bank balance can be divided into EMIs, but health cannot be postponed. This is where life shows its first major twist. Money can buy comfort, can get good treatment, but sleep, energy, and a pain-free body do not always come with a purchase. 𝐼𝐸 remembered how many times he had said, I will work hard now, I will look after my health later. But the body did not wait for the later. The real fear was not of the disease. The fear was that for years he had considered the voice of his own body as background noise, and now that very voice was sounding the loudest. Slowly he understood that fitness is not a thing for show. It is the foundation upon which work, family, dreams, confidence, and the quality of the entire life stand. But the story does not end here. Because a person does not break down only from the body, many times they give up sooner from internal restlessness, tension, and the constant invisible pressure. The second truth is about mental peace. At a younger age, we feel that it is necessary to win every debate, necessary to answer every insult, and that we must prove our value to everyone. Replying on social media, ego battles in the office, giving proof in relationships, and proving oneself right on every small matter feels active and strong to us. But with age, one finds out that even after winning every battle, a person can lose to themselves. Because a victory achieved by losing peace shines from the outside, but costs very dearly on the inside. Many people come into our lives who turn every matter into a drama. In the beginning we handle them, then we explain to them, then we ourselves get emotionally exhausted. After a certain age, a person learns that distance is also maturity. It is not necessary to break every relationship, but it is also not necessary to keep every energy drain close to your heart. 𝐼𝐸 silenced his phone for the first time. He realized that the world's biggest luxury is sometimes not an expensive car, but uninterrupted silence. Another uncomfortable truth is hidden here. We recognize the ones who give us stress, but we recognize our own habit of holding on to stress very late. Someone said something, and we ruin our entire day. Someone ignored us, and we start doubting our own value, as if our life is determined by their gaze. Age teaches exactly this. Reaction is also an expense. Every reaction is deducted from your emotional savings, and gradually a person becomes normal on the outside but empty on the inside. The third truth returns toward home. The same parents whose talks once seemed outdated, suddenly start appearing very deep, practical, and forward-looking over time. In childhood, their restrictions felt like control. Eat on time, save money, recognize people. All these things felt like lectures to us. Then, when life places those same questions in front of you, the voice of their words changes. The worry hidden in the scolding begins to be seen clearly for the first time. 𝐼𝐸 remembered, his father often used to say, "Do not run so much that returning home feels difficult." Back then he would brush the matter off with a smile, as if he had a lot of time. Now seeing his father's old chair empty, he understood that if some advice had been understood on time, life could have been a little softer, a little more balanced, and a little less full of regret. Not every parent is perfect, and the thinking of every generation is not always correct. But there is a fire in their experience from which they want to protect us. As age increases, a person understands this difference. They do not learn blind obedience, they learn to read the intention. They start looking at the worry behind the words more than the words themselves. Many times, regret also enters the mind. How many calls were cut short quickly? How many meetings were postponed? How many things were left unsaid? And how many times ego became bigger than love? This is where the fourth truth gently opens the door. Nothing is permanent in life, and this is the point we understand the latest, because we mistake permanence for security. We think that friends will always be there, the job will always be there, the body will always support us, and the people at home will always be available. This very trust lets us take today for granted. But time changes things without making a sound. Someone changes cities, someone changes priorities, someone changes thinking, and sometimes someone leaves the world altogether. Change scares us at first, because we like stable ground. But life is like the ocean. Here the waves do not stop, we just have to learn how to swim. The one who considered change an enemy breaks at every turn. The one who considered it a signal gradually becomes flexible, practical, and strong from within. 𝐼𝐸 saw that his old company, where he considered himself indispensable, was running even without him. This point stung, but the truth woke him up. We often make our role our identity. If the job is gone, we break down. If a relationship changes, we consider ourselves incomplete, as if our existence is attached to a label. Age tells you that you are much bigger than any one designation, relation, or phase. Life changes the chapter. It does not end the book. It just changes the tone of the story. But to reach this understanding, a man has to pass through his ego. And the ego often bows the very last, because it does not understand the difference between a loss and a lesson. The fifth truth is about loving oneself. This sounds soft to hear, but in reality this is the hardest lesson, because society trains us to put ourselves last. Many people spend their entire lives carrying the burden of others' expectations. The family should be happy, the boss should be happy, society should be happy. Just let one's own voice keep getting suppressed gradually. Then, after a certain age, a tired voice comes from within. What about my own happiness? And this question shakes a person to the core. Self-love does not mean abandoning others. It means do not abandon yourself so much that one day your own face in the mirror looks like a stranger, tired and lifeless. 𝐼𝐸 understood that he treated many people's needs as an emergency, but postponed his own needs considering them a hobby. And this very postponing gradually became exhaustion. Taking a rest is not guilt. Saying no is not rudeness. Asking for time for oneself is not selfishness. It is taking responsibility for one's own life. In reality, a person who is empty from within cannot give light to others for long either. An extinguished lamp cannot show the way to anyone else. The same truth works in relationships too. When a person learns to respect themselves, only then can they demand a healthier respect from others and recognize toxic patterns. The sixth truth is the quietest but gives the most healing. Mistakes are not the courtroom of life but the classroom of life, where the fees are paid with pain and the lessons are gained from experience. At a young age, one mistake feels like the entire identity. A failed exam, a wrong career choice, a breaking relationship, and it feels as if everything is over. But time shows that many times even the wrong turns are part of the path. Those very turns show us our limits, desires, courage, and real priorities. When 𝐼𝐸 looked back, he felt ashamed of many of his choices. But then he remembered, at that time he was only as wise as he could have been. This realization is very necessary, because without self-forgiveness, no person truly moves forward. They just keep carrying the old burden in new clothes. Forgiving others also changes with age. First we mistake forgiveness for weakness, later we understand that it is a way to set oneself free. This does not mean accepting the wrong as right. It means do not let any old pain become the landlord of your entire life. The real maturity of life is when a person starts reading their story not as a punishment but as a perspective. Then even pain begins to give direction. And then a strange peace arrives. That same past which once caused pain now feels like a teacher. That same mistake is no longer a warning, but has become wisdom. When 𝐼𝐸 stepped out of the hospital, the city was the same. The roads were the same, the people were the same, even the morning air was the same, but the way of looking within him had changed. He understood that age does not increase only on the calendar. Age increases when a person feels the cost of their choices and the truth of their priorities for the first time. Health, peace, parents, change, self-love and mistakes, these are not separate lessons. These are 6 doors of the same story, passing through which the perspective changes. Every door opens when life forces us to stop for a while. And stopping is many times not a defeat, but the beginning of returning to your true path. The biggest insight is that life does not teach us by shouting. It changes us gradually through people, pain, time, silence and small losses. What looks like advice today becomes experience tomorrow. And the thing that becomes an experience, no book can turn back into a theory. Perhaps that is why growing age is not a thing to fear. It is a slow light in which a person for the first time sees the difference between the essential and the non-essential clearly. In the end, life does not ask how many people you impressed. It simply shows how much you understood yourself, how much you lived for your loved ones, and how much you learned to become lighter as you walked along.
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible, but in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.